Coming up with ideas can be pretty daunting, especially when we want to achieve something unique and eye-catching. In a world where creativity reigns supreme, the quest for unique and captivating ideas can feel like a difficult thing. Creativity isn't just a talent, it's a skill that can be honed and mastered. Today, we're diving into the exhilarating world of idea generation. Let's begin. Today, we're tackling one of the most exhilarating yet daunting aspects of the creative process, generating ideas. So whether you're a writer, designer, or an aspiring artist, finding that spark of inspiration can be a difficult thing sometimes. But today I'm going to be sharing a simple process that you can apply in order to generate ideas and transform simple forms into creative ideas. Step 1, clarify your intentions. First things first, let's get it clear on our purpose. Creativity is about solving problems, so you have to ask yourself, what am I trying to solve? Who am I creating for? What am I creating for? Why am I creating this piece? When the purpose of a thing is not known, it's easy to go every which way. So we have to understand and know why and what we are creating for. A simple example would be you're trying to create a visual or poster for an upcoming kids event. It wouldn't make any sense for you to create something in the direction of visuals that appeal more to adults or working class people. It would make no sense, which is why we have to understand our purpose and who we're creating for and why we are creating whatever it is we're creating. Be it a poster, book cover, whatever it is, you have to understand and know why and who you're creating for. That's the first step. Step 2, gather information. Next up, it's time to do some good old-fashioned research. It's time for us to deep dive into the topic of theme that we are exploring. This could be scouring through Pinterest, which is a very good place for gathering visual reference and visual information because that helps a whole lot. I mean, for every artist, I don't know any artist that doesn't go to Pinterest for ideas or things like that. So scouring through Pinterest, it could be you reading an article, blog, watching videos. Just gather as much information as you can. So if you're creating something for a specific group of people, it's important for you to know who they are, some of the things they like, and possible associations that are connected to those group of people or to the thing that you're creating. Because different things mean different things to different people. I don't know if you get me. So while you're researching, as you do research along the line, your mind will form connections. You would already be coming up with things while you're researching, and while that is going on, don't forget to write those down. The research phase allows you to form brain associations and connections. What do I mean? While you're researching, your mind will be thinking of possible connections and associations that connect to what you're creating for. Think of it in terms of symbolism, characteristics, personality, colors, mood, and potential interpretation of certain things. A very good example is, for example, circle. Circle could mean unity, eternity, cycles. It could mean different things. For example, butterflies, using butterflies in certain visuals or illustrations could have potentially different meanings to certain groups of people. So a group of people, it could mean life, growth. To another set of people, it could mean transformation, magic, and illusion. And to another set of people, it could mean death because of the culture or how those people have associated or added a connection to that specific thing. Another example is with colors. An example like the color white. You are creating something for a group of Indians that's supposed to mean or represent life, and you want to make use of white to feel Like there is life, there is purity. But here's the thing. So Indians, or a specific group of Indians, white could mean death, because white is what the widows wear when they are mourning their husbands. So that could be a different interpretation to them. That is why it's important for you to gather information about what and who you're creating for, or the theme that you're creating things around. Understand the associations around the themes you're creating for. Step 3, incubate ideas. Now, this is where things get a little more interesting. We've gathered as much information as we can. We've gathered the visual reference and everything. It's time to let those information you've gathered simmer. Let those ideas simmer. Because right now, your mind is filled with loads and loads of information that you feel a little bit overwhelmed. Well, this is the time for you to just let your brain get a breather. Trust me, inspiration loves to strike when you least expect. Ever notice how when you do the most mundane of things, ideas just seem to flow through your mind? That's exactly what we want. So just let those ideas incubate in your mind. Let go for a walk, a stroll. Just do some mundane activities so that your mind is able to pick out something more tangible than all the information just coming through your mind. So let the mind breathe. Step 4, be prolific and curious. Now, this is where we unleash our inner child, where we can be curious and be bold. What do I mean? It's time for us to be prolific and not judge whatever ideas that we have come up with. Our focus here is to generate as many ideas as we can and not focus on quality, but on quantity. So you can do this simply by asking yourself, what if? What if this? What if I add this here? Or what if I add this here or there? That's simply what we mean. So you can explore different directions and just see how possible connections can be moved and placed wherever. So this is a simple way of transforming simple ideas into more creative forms by just asking yourself, what if? Really, what if? The way the human mind works, we are wired to be curious, but going through life, we tend to form walls and keep ourselves in shells because we are afraid of people and ourselves judging our ideas in fear of looking stupid. So this is where we have to just step out of our comfort zone, step out of that shell or that wall or the barrier that we've created, and just explore as much as we can, or to the extent or capacity that we can explore. So we've done our research, we've gathered information, we've created mood boards, we have visual references and all of that. It's time for you to just allow your mind expand and wander from, or explore further from the initial idea that you had, and just add more or remove less, add more or make it less. This is when you don't have to be afraid of thinking outside the box and experimenting with unconventional ideas or unconventional associations. So you can look for unexpected connections between different concepts and bring them together and see how they either complement or contrast with each other. So what do I mean? For example, you are to create a visual or a poster or an illustration that is to represent seeking knowledge, and by far the only idea that comes to your mind is probably someone just sitting down and reading a book, right? You have that. Or someone in a library, because library represents knowledge, right? It represents a place that has a vast pool of information. So it could be a person standing and being captivated by the amount of books or or information that he or she is able to have access to or have access to. So those are like very generic ideas, right? Those are very generic ideas. You could add something from a different concept entirely and bring into that. What do I mean by that? Remember, I said that you can bring unexpected connections and see how they either complement or contrast each other. In this aspect of seeking knowledge, creating a visual that represents seeking knowledge, you could have someone in a sea of books, or the book is the sea itself, not a sea filled with books. The book is the sea itself. The pages are like water, right? And you could have someone in a boat literally fishing for knowledge. So that idea could be that even if you're reading a book, there is something that you have to take out of that book. You're not going to digest the entire book information. There is something there that hooks you or just changes your perspective on certain things or changes your mindset or transforms your life entirely. So that is the idea. Fishing and book. Combine them together and you have someone fishing for knowledge or that hook or that information that would satisfy them. And that is combining two different concepts and bringing them as one to complement or contrast each other. I don't know if that makes sense, but it does make sense to me. You might also feel like maybe your ideas are not original. Well, is there really anything original in the world? We're not going to dive into that, but really, ideas is about combining different things together and seeing how the best fit your creative direction. Step 5, refine your ideas. We've been able to generate as much ideas as we can with sketches and thumbnails and mind maps and all of that thing. It's time for us to develop and refine those ideas to what best fits our creative vision and direction. So as much as we've created that many ideas, we have to nail it down to 1 or 2 or 3 that best fits what it is that we're going for, or the direction or creative direction that we have or vision that we have. There has to be at least one that should fit into that box. Step 6, iterate and iterate again. So it's easy to feel discouraged at first when your initial ideas don't pan out the way you expected them to be, but there is no issue there. There's no need to be discouraged or feel any type of way, because our first and initial ideas oftentimes are not the best of ideas. Remember that the creative process is all about solving problems. So don't judge yourself, don't beat yourself up when your initial ideas don't pan out as how you expected them to pan out. If one thing doesn't work, you can always try a different direction. That's why we iterate and iterate again. We try different directions until we get what best fits our creative vision. Capiche? As creatives, as illustrators, as artists, it's important that we fail at times, because there we find growth, there we find something beautiful, because failure is just an opportunity for us to grow, because once you've learned, you can't go back to your failures, really. Once you've passed a particular phase in, let's say, your drawing, your illustration, there's a lesson that you learn, or there's just something that you just know that, okay, when I'm drawing this or when I'm creating this is just how I want this to be done. As long as you don't stop trying, you've not failed, really. We practice and we practice and practice. over and over again just to be good at our craft. So that shouldn't be a problem when it comes to generating ideas, because it's a skill that can be learned. It may come easier for other people, it may come easier for certain people, and a little more difficult for another set of people, but it's a process. It's a process. So iterate and iterate again. Step 7, build. We've gone through the entire process, and this is the final stage. We've gone through the entire process of knowing who we're creating for, what we're creating for, why we're creating for. The gathering of information, generating ideas, writing down things, creating sketches, mood board, template, all of those things. Those steps would not mean anything if we eventually do not execute our ideas. It would just be meaningless that you went through other steps to not do anything. So it's important to execute. This is the building phase. This is the execution phase, where you bring your ideas, your illustrations, your thumbnails, your sketch to life. Yes. Whatever medium you choose to explore, just ensure that you execute your ideas and just bring them to life, because it's easy for artists and creatives to just have an idea, go through all the process of researching and everything, and not do anything about it. We just have a bank of ideas that is just closed off somewhere, and nothing is happening. So there you have it. A simple yet powerful process for creating and generating ideas and unleashing your creative potential. So don't be afraid to explore and just go beyond your bounds, because we are creatives. Remember that creativity is about solving a problem. So don't be afraid to borrow from an artist or from here and there and just combine to create something unique, something new, something that just follows your creative direction. As Austin Kellen famously said, still like an artist, because really everything is just a remix. Thank you for joining me on this creative journey of generating ideas. If you found this video useful or helpful in any way, don't forget to like, share, subscribe for more tips on how to fuel your creative and artistic journey. Until the next time, keep creating and don't stop dreaming. Cheers.